Have you ever felt stuck in your comfort zone? So afraid to take the next big step? Maybe it's speaking in front of a crowd, launching a business, or even something as simple as introducing yourself to someone new. Stepping out of your comfort zone is terrifying, but it's also where the magic happens. Today, we're talking about why fear holds us back and how we can push through it, and why taking risks, even small ones, can transform our lives. And I want to share a personal story with you because a few years ago, I literally walked through fire to prove to myself what's possible, and glass, by the way. So hi, my name is Tracy from Flourish Connections. How are you? I do podcasts and I also do mentoring, all about self-worth, making your business more visible, and so much more. But today we are going to be talking about stepping out of your comfort zone. So, a few years ago, right, I did something crazy, like I do. I walked on fire. Not once. I've done this twice. And also I did it, how many times did I do it when I was there? Twice also whilst I was doing it. So the first time I was nervous but excited. The second time I just knew I could do it because I'd done it before. So that bit was a bit better. And the experience taught me something powerful. Fear is temporary. I'm just going to move something a minute because I've got something right next to the microphone. It seems to be reverberating off. I can really feel it. So what was I saying? Fear is temporary, but the confidence you gain from facing it, that will last forever. But here's what surprised me the most. Like I say, I've also walked on glass. Now, this one was so much harder for me. The reason for it, is because I've actually stood on glass before. You know what it's like? Have you had it before where you've stood on glass? So, a tiny bit of, like a little shard of glass is left over. You think you've picked it all up when you've accidentally broken a glass, and you go in the kitchen, and it's always at a time when you just don't expect it. And suddenly a bit of glass just goes up in your foot and you're like, and you have to pull it out and there's blood and it's awful. And you end up sort of jumping around, and you've got to take it out. Oh, even that bit now gives me the shivers. And so my brain told me at the time when there was this, like a pathway of glass, and the lady said, do you want to give it a go? And I was like, not really. I was like, because in my head, I was thinking I couldn't see how it worked. And I kid you not, I remember standing there looking at this pathway thinking, I don't see how I can do this. And yeah, I'd done firewalking before. Like I say, I've done that twice now. But the glass one, I was looking at it, I could see all these broken bottles of glass and pieces. And the glass was also, bits of it sticking up. And I was thinking, well, firstly, I drove that. I was on my own. And I was thinking, how am I going to get home if I hurt myself quite badly? That's firstly what went through my head. I don't know anyone here. I could be in a terrible situation of just crying my eyes out with glass sticking in my foot, asking for the lady who's doing the glass walking to help me. I don't know. I was thinking of all these things, and I actually felt kind of hot, like, that feeling of like, things get a little bit tight clothing-wise, as I was just looking at it, thinking, I want to do it, and I'm scared. And you feel your face, can't you, get a little bit prickly. Anyhow, this young lad gave it a go in front of me. And I watched him do it. He didn't have a care in the world. He just do over the glass, crunch, crunch, crunch. And I was like, well, if he can do it, I can do this. I can do this. I can do this. And I did. I walked. She told me to just look ahead. Don't look down at the floor. You'll hear the crunches and just walk ahead. Like I say, for some reason, walking on fire with everyone else and everyone cheering, that I seem to go okay with. But walking on glass, that one was a strange one in my head because I was relating it to pain. And sometimes you've got to just push through that. So, that's exactly what fear does to us, isn't it? It makes us believe the worst case scenarios. So I did overcome that and I felt pretty good actually after I'd done it. I was like, hey, I've now walked on glass. There's a picture of me actually walking on the glass, and even my face says, I'm not too happy. It's kind of like a grimacing face. But, I do these things. So behind fear and comfort zones, our brains are just wired, aren't they, for safety? When we're in our comfort zone, everything feels predictable and controlled. It's how we're supposed to be. It's how we're set up. It's when we step outside of it, our brain sees that as a threat. It's the fight or flight mode, basically. And that's even when small risks like sending an email, posting that video, or asking for a raise can feel huge. But here's the trick. The more we face our fears, the more we rewire our brains to handle discomfort. Think about it, right? The first time you rode a bike, terrifying. The 100th time, second nature. You probably don't even think about it. Growth happens when we push the fear and prove to ourselves, I can do this. So, how is it that we can do this in everyday ways to step out of our comfort zone? So I'm not saying go walk on fire. Please don't go do that. This was actually an arranged event, okay? Or glass, for that matter. My God. Okay. You don't have to walk on fire for challenges. Okay. Just small, consistent actions can build confidence. So here are a few ways that you can start stepping out of your comfort zone today. How about you just start a conversation with a stranger? It could be at a coffee shop, a networking event, or even online. Say yes to something new, a big project, a new workout, or a new experience. Put yourself out there. Post that blog. Launch that business. Or, which I've spoken about in another podcast, raise your prices. Do something that scares you. And daily, even if it's as small as making a phone call that you've been avoiding. Each time you push past fear, you become stronger, more resilient, and guess what? More confident. Honestly, I go to networking events. I went to what was it? It's coming up a month actually now. And I went along and I met some lovely business people. I walked in that room. The lady was stood there at the door with the clipboard. And she turned to me, took my name. And I looked around the room and there was one lady there right in the corner that I knew. And I thought, oh, there's somebody here that I know, thank God. Anyhow, she said, go over and make yourself a coffee, and so I did. And these other people came up and said hello to me. I've quite often, you see, go to networking events and I know nobody there. I ended up talking to all different people before I'd even met the person then that I knew was in the room. I was there chatting away, finding out all about them, because I do find people actually quite interesting. I love hearing about what they do. So when I walk in there, I'm always a little bit like, oh, okay, new people, and I've got to chat. And I just have to push past it all the time, because do you know what? I actually gained a customer whilst I was there as well. So that was pretty good. So what's on the other side of fear when you push past your limits? Well, you don't just grow, you redefine what's possible. So after I walked on fire, I felt pretty unstoppable. It wasn't about the fire itself. It was about proving to myself that fear wouldn't control me. And if I could do that, what else could I do? And let me ask you, what's your fire walk? Like I say, don't go and walk on fire or glass or anything. But what's your thing? What have you got that you find hard? What's the thing that you've been avoiding because it feels scary? I tell you what, a lot of people I talk to is they don't like posting videos with their faces in it. But actually, I find that when you post a video with your face, people connect so much better. But people are very scared to do that. So you are capable of so much more than what you believe. So it's a case of feeling the fear and just do it anyway. Fear doesn't mean stop. Fear can mean go. Every successful person, every leader, they all feel fear. The difference is they take action anyway. So whatever is holding you back, just take one small step today. Because the life you want, the success you dream of, it's on the other side of your comfort zone. So I hope this episode has inspired you to take that next step outside of your comfort zone. If you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe, leave a review if you can. It really helps people discover this show. So let me tell you, what's one way you're stepping out of your comfort zone this week? Send me a message or drop a comment. I'd love to celebrate it with you. And if you want more inspiration, then please visit my website, which is Flourish Connections, where I do coaching and there's resources for confidence, mindset and business growth. Thank you so much for listening, and please check out other podcasts that I do. Take care. Bye-bye.